D Rock here with another stream. It is Thursday, February 9th, 9:35 a.m. Central Standard Time. Crypto market cap still sitting right around $1.063 trillion. Bitcoin dominance 41.1%, ETH dominance 18.9%. Bitcoin has not moved a whole lot the past 24 hours. You can see very similar price action, not only in Bitcoin, but also Ethereum. Ethereum seems to be bleeding out a bit. Just yesterday, we saw it's trading above, I believe, 1650, 1660. Now we're at 1633. BNB at 319. Cardano at under 39 cents again. Dogecoin below 9 cents. Matic $1.32. Things seems to be fizzling out here in crypto. Dow Jones has printed a red candle for the first hour since the market opened. We dropped about 100 points, roughly speaking. We'll continue to see if that moves on forward with later into the day. Again, looking at Bitcoin, we can see that we did have in the past 24 hours, we did have a little rally up to about what's it called? Up to roughly 23,050, 23,040, but ultimately got rejected, and that's after the floor more or less fell out below Bitcoin, leading to a mini local bottom at 22,650, roughly speaking. Again, bulls were not able to clear higher than roughly 23K. So price action has started to come down a bit more. Overnight, we went as low as roughly 22,350. Again, the bulls seem to have found some momentum, but they got stomped out just above 22.8. Bears seem to be in control again, driving the price action below 226. We'll see if the bulls can more or less hold the line. Hourly chart not looking too great for Bitcoin either. It just looks like a channel of descent. Basically just going down. Oh, we're gonna come up a bit. Okay, no, we're gonna go down a bit more. So we can more or less expect to retest these lines of supports right around 22.4, 22.5 here in the next 24 hours. We'll see if those hold. If those lines of support do not hold, you could see potentially 22,200 Bitcoin along with $22,000 Bitcoin. Hell, maybe we even drop below 22K in the next 24 hours and we see maybe $21,600 Bitcoin, maybe 21.5. Again, time will tell with that. DXY seems to be reversing yet again. It seems like it didn't find a bottom, or it's at least going to retest those lows. Maybe we form some sort of a double bottom. Maybe we come out to over here and then eventually start going up this way. We'll see. Again, time will tell with that. Over in El Salvador, Porsche and Maserati dealerships are now accepting Bitcoin as payment. So if you wanted to buy a Porsche or Maserati with Bitcoin, head over to El Salvador and they can make that happen for you. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that would want to do that. In case you missed it, German banks are moving into Bitcoin. Deutsche Bank making strategic investments in ETF and market maker companies. Deca Bank to offer Bitcoin to 500 plus institutional clients. Institutional funds can hold up to 20% in Bitcoin. On ramps are ready. Take your mark. Go. Bitcoin seems to be making some moves over in Deutschland or Germany. Federal Reserve Bank of New York saying Bitcoin shares most of the features of a store of value, such as gold. Quite the endorsement from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So I'm sure some people will view that claim, in bad faith. They'll view it negatively, but personally, I think that's a huge endorsement. Here we have Bitcoin's value appreciation engine, increasing scarcity, Jesus. Each Bitcoin having tightened supply issuance, forcing supply demand price equilibrium to reestablish higher. No asset has ever had these properties before. So here we can see as time progresses, the scarcity of said Bitcoin continues to, as we pass more and more halvings, there'll be less Bitcoin available for purchase after the 2024 halving, less Bitcoin mined. Same thing with after the 2028 halving. It's just up and to the right essentially for Bitcoin when it comes to the log axis, conceptual axis, along with the actual or the normal axis. So, in my opinion, rather bullish. Obviously, Bitcoin can head lower in the short term. We're talking the next 6 to 18 months, maybe up to 12. But I think right around when that halving comes around next year, I think that the 1 to 3 months prior to that, I think we'll see some pretty killer rallies out of Bitcoin. Watch Bitcoin here, fam. BTUSD. If we stay flat to sell a bit, Trend and Momo are going to be very strong. Bear for the very short term. Looks like the wind is coming out of the sails. Said target of 25s, then 15s. Highs might be in. Just a warning, take it or leave it. Again, personally, I kind of agree with Wifey over here. I do think we are due to at least test right around 22, 21K. And again, if those lines of support do not hold, I do think we are going back to 15K, retesting those lines of support. That'll probably hold for at least some time, and then inevitably we will probably retest 12 to 14K Bitcoin. And again, like uh, like like any scenario, there's probabilities. If that doesn't hold, we can anticipate more downside out of Bitcoin and crypto. So um, you just got to be prepared for any scenario. Gold versus Bitcoin versus fiat currency. Gold and Bitcoin are both durable, while fiat currency is. Uh, Gold is not very divisible. Meanwhile, Bitcoin and fiat currency is um, fungible. Bitcoin and gold are very fungible. Meanwhile, fiat currency is not fungible with other fiat. US dollar is not fungible with Canadian dollar. Bitcoin is rather portable and transferable, in contrast to something like gold or fiat. Gold has a high value to weight ratio, but compared to others, is still heavy and uh, cumbersome to transport. As we saw with the invasion of Ukraine this past year, people were trying to carry their uh, precious earth metals like gold and silver out of Ukraine, and they got their metals confiscated at the border via customs. Meanwhile, had they had a Bitcoin wallet, they probably would have just been fine. Fiat currency, while it is portable, it looks extremely sketch if you have. Uh, I don't know why this is the case, but it seems it's very suspicious or sketchy to authorities if you're transporting, a few $1,000s in a wallet or briefcase. In the Ukraine's instance, some people were trying to walk off with um, hundreds of thousands of dollars in briefcase and such. But yeah, both fiat currency have been counterfeited before. Gold can be verified, but only through uh, cumbersome assay. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is fully verifiable. Gold is quote unquote scarce. Bitcoin is scarce and finite. The only constraint on fiat currency is willingness of government or central bank. So, in times like the pandemic and such, the dollar becomes less scarce because the Federal Reserve prints trillions of dollars in an effort to quote unquote save the economy. That makes the dollars less and less scarce. Uh, Gold has a long track record as money and maintaining purchasing power. Bitcoin's history is the shortest. Fiat currency has a poor track record. Out of the three, has the worst track record. Bitcoin, while very very new, it's proving to have a very very great track record. Gold just has it beat out by quite some time, but I think that will change as the narrative develops moving forward. Goldman Sachs saying Bitcoin is commodity, has no liability attached to it, and that's why it is a store of value and why it's used by so many around the globe. Bitcoin is going to eat real estate's $326 trillion lunch. 21 reasons why. Liquidity. I'm not going to go through all this, but I'll read the first five or so. Liquidity. Bitcoin is highly liquid, meaning it can be easily bought or sold on the open market with minimal price impact. This is not the case with real estate, which often takes longer to sell and may require significant price negotiation. Uh, Bitcoin is borderless, can be bought, held, and sold globally without any geographic restrictions, while real estate is often subject to local laws, regulations. Talking about accessibility, Bitcoin can be acquired with a relatively small investment. We're talking a few $1,000s, if not just a few $100s, making it accessible to a wider range of investors compared to real estate, which often requires substantial upfront investment. We're talking 10K plus, if not. In some people's minds, you need like 50 to 100K to get started in real estate. Divisibility, Bitcoin is highly visible, meaning it can be bought and sold in fractional amounts, making it easier for individuals to invest. Transparency, sorry. The supply and transaction history of Bitcoin is publicly available and transparent, while the transparency of real estate can vary depending on the jurisdiction. Here, I'll just scroll down a few more of these just so you can get an idea of what this thread's about. As you can see, Bitcoin is going to totally eat real estate's lunch, along with a few other asset classes and such. Bitcoin is the way forward. It's the way through. Federal Reserve publishes new 31-page Bitcoin research report. In there, they said Bitcoin shares most of the features of a store of values, such as gold, and concludes Bitcoin responsive to both monetary and macroeconomic news. Again, another thing that some people would be rather unenthusiastic to hear or read, but I think this is rather quite the endorsement from the Federal Reserve and pertaining to Bitcoin as a store of value and its utility moving forward. Here we have Bitcoin possibly going to um, have its first weekly death cross ever in history. So, something to definitely pay attention to. Some people are like, oh, that's bullish, right? Kind of like Magoo PhD. That's clearly not bullish. It's the, pardon me, it's the antithesis of bullish. It's very bearish, but yeah, people will troll and tell you otherwise. Here we have 1,300 Bitcoin transferred from unknown wallet to Coinbase. Could that be a potential whale? Noticing this death cross forming and wanting to sell off as a result. Curious as to how long they've been holding their stack of Bitcoin. This is a suckers rally. It will fail like others. Hashtag Bitcoin, ETH, and Cardano. Where do you think we are in the psychology of a market cycle? Personally, I think some people are saying we're like right around here for heading. We're like at some point of anger. Um, I think we're more like somewhere around here, denial or panic. Again, I could be totally wrong, but I feel like a lot of people are so like way too uh way too bullish on the market. And then, you know, I feel like we're just about at capitulation, but I feel like we're kind of at denial. And then um at some point I feel like later this year will be capitulation slash anger, and then maybe later in the year we kind of hit depression uh point of the market cycle. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below. Revolut launches Ethereum Cardano staking to its 25 million users. Very cool, but we do need to be careful with staking. Don't chase yield, guys. Binance market share increased to 55% of the world's spot Bitcoin, spot crypto trading in January. Pretty big deal for Binance. Seems like they're pretty much unstoppable at this point. But when it comes to staking, we need to be very careful because CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, saying we are hearing rumors that the SEC would like to get rid of crypto staking in the US for retail customers. I hope that's not the case, as I believe it would be a terrible path for the US if that was allowed to happen. Don't want to term, but since the turn of the year, new Operation Choke Point type operation, pardon me, began targeting the crypto space in the US as a well coordinated effort to marginalize the industry and cut off its connectivity to the banking system, and it's working. Yeah, so this is the real thing, says Travis Kling, confirmed by multiple informed sources. You'll see more shoes dropping here over the course of this year and the next. This is SEC probe focusing on unregistered securities. So it seems like the SEC is really making an effort to try and stomp out crypto staking here, at least in the United States. And you know, as a result, they probably will go after Binance at some point because Binance US users are still able to stake their crypto for decent APYs, mind you. But don't chase that yield, especially with all the uncertainty regarding the SEC and you know, staking and such. So be careful. If Binance goes bankrupt, crypto will be dead for a decade. Analysts say. I don't think it would be a decade. I think it would probably be a year or two. That would be rather devastating for Bitcoin and crypto as a whole, but I think the market would recover significantly, maybe not entirely till the next bull run, but I think um a lot of good could come out of it. I think we could see a lot of smaller players take Binance's place, take its market share more or less. But I'm not trying to spell doom for Binance. I would like to see it I would like to see it continue to grow and succeed. Barry Silbert's digital currency group sold Grayscale shares to raise capital and preserve liquidity, according to Financial Times. Make of that what you will. Good move, bad move. Again, it's just another thing to discuss down below in the comment section. Former Coinbase employee admits to insider trading. Not really too surprised with that. I feel like insider trading occurs in many companies, whether the companies like to admit it or not. Consumers complain about 50% withdrawal fees on Crypto.com exchange. Not a great look for Crypto.com. I haven't really done a whole lot of research on this, but some people are calling bluff on this. Other people are dating it, saying, yeah, this is true. Either way, it's not a good look for crypto.com. Biden's SEC is going after Ethereum staking. Biden's EPA and Department of Energy are going after Bitcoin mining. This person says they regret voting for Biden. They should have voted for Trump. Taking the L. And this person says, you voted for Biden? Good Lord. At this point, you guys, there's no point in, crucifying people for how they voted. It's in the past where some, basically 2 years removed from that scenario. Not saying it doesn't matter, but we should just focus on the future and moving forward and, basically licking our wounds, admitting where we were wrong, um, and moving forward with that insight, and so we don't make the same mistakes over and over again. Here we have Rob from Digital Asset News with some news on Voyager. I'll let him take it away.
I just got an email this morning. Dear Robbie, Voyager went into agreement with Binance US. We know they did not too long ago, January 10th or somewhere around there. On January 10th, Voyager received bankruptcy court approval to solicit votes from creditors on the plan. We believe presents the fastest path to returning the largest portion of cryptocurrency to you. Look, I can't sway you if there's a voting process or what it's going to be, but I'm going to say right now, I'm voting for this. I'm out. I'm tired of this stuff, tired of this nonsense. Let's just go and do this because we're still in a bear market. Give me back my funds so I can reinvest in the smart ways. I have to deal with this nonsense. You can do whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you the way I'm voting. I'm out. Done.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I'm going to opt in to make this deal go through with Binance US and Voyager. Reason being, like he stated, we are still in a bear market, you guys. So even if he lost some money, it would be, I think, beneficial to most people to have a few $1,000s to spend in the bear market. Because I mean, you play your cards right, you could see 100x out of a particular investment that you make in the bear market. That's not to say go long on every altcoin because they're all going to succeed. Realistically speaking, many are going to succeed, but only a few of them are going to see those ridiculous gains that we saw last cycle. So I do think it would be best if people got opted into this negotiation between Voyager and Binance and make the deal go through. That way, we have some money to spend bear market. Hopefully, and make our money back and then some when the next bull market arrives next year. Here we have Marty Ben saying if the government is really debanking the industry, they're going to help kickstart Bitcoin circular economy at scale. Interesting concept that Marty Ben proposes. Debanking the industry. What he means by this is the fact that over in the UK, for example, the digital pound is rolling out, and because they don't want people putting their money on crypto exchanges, the big banks over in the UK are actually preventing transfers from the banks over to crypto exchanges because they don't want money leaving the banks. Essentially, they want to keep it right where it is, and that's the horrifying side about these CBDCs, you guys, is it just gives the government, the big banks, more and more levers to control your funds with. Here we have Robert W. Malone talking about how more World Economic Forum agenda deployment. Amazing watching how the Five Eyes alliance nations have become the World Economic Forum's test bed. Coming soon to your nation state. Also, question mark, consumers to face £20,000 limit on digital pound, Bank of England says. What could possibly go wrong? Another ridiculous decline in a bull market, never stops. Jim Cramer seems to have not gotten the memo that we're still in a bear market. He thinks we're in a bull market for some reason. Probably because it's in La La Land, mainstream media news, La La Land, where they think the sky is actually the ground, um, etc. Just so many contradictory the mainstream media. But yeah, don't follow Jim Cramer and Wes. Do the exact opposite. You should fare out pretty well. Americans fall behind on car payments at a higher rate than 2009 per Bloomberg. That is roughly when the last recession was occurring. So, not a good sign for things to come. Credit Suisse just reported its worst annual loss since the 2008 financial crisis. Again, just another sign of cracks in the foundation, so to speak. Robinhood reports a net loss of $1 billion in 2022. Nothing to see here, folks. Just another company possibly going under. Fed's Kashkari saying financial markets are more optimistic than we are that inflation will fall rapidly. And that's the thing. A lot of markets, including the crypto markets, are rallying off of what the Federal Reserve was saying just a few days ago. Oh yeah, we're bringing down inflation, blah blah blah, and the stock market and crypto markets rallied as a result, not reading the silver lining, the fact that, okay, well, actually, though inflation is coming down, it is nowhere near where the Federal Reserve wants it to be, as they state of time and time and time again. They want inflation right around 2 to 3%. We are sitting at 5 to 6%. To think that the Federal Reserve is going to stop interest rates anytime soon, I'm sorry, is very naive and ignorant. They've signaled several times they still have a few rate hikes in the works. We don't know how many exactly, but I guarantee you it's probably 2 to 4 rate hikes more, which takes us into quarter 3 of this year. And if that's the case, we probably won't see the Federal Reserve pivot until essentially the end of the year, quarter 4, or some point in quarter 1 of next year. And there's some things that they say that suggest that that may not even be um, a scenario that's possible. So again, I'm kind of being optimistic about the scenario, but I'm being very trying to be very realistic about it as well. Fed's Kashkari also says we don't want to cause a recession, but we know that we have a job and inflation, and it's that they started about a year ago, and they still have some ways to go before it's done, so to speak. Feds Williams says if the situation changes faster than 25 basis point moves, um, again, that just opens up the possibility that we see another 50 basis point rate hike. Who knows, maybe even 75 basis point rate hike just to curb inflation. That they may make drastic moves like that. It may be quote unquote necessary to bring inflation back down to normal levels that we're used to. Feds Williams also says for a few years a restrictive stance must be maintained. So again, maybe we don't even see a Federal Reserve at some point this year. Maybe at some point into in late 2025, or sorry, late 2024 or early 2025. I mean, this is not good. Federal Reserve is signaling that inflation still has some ways to come down, and as a result, they need to essentially continue with the rate hikes to bring it down. So, again, I'm not super bullish on the markets right now. I don't know what people are smoking, but there must be some really good stuff if they think that uh, and crypto are going back to all time highs, and we're in this new sort of bull market. It's like we're not too far from the high with the stock market. Like we have some people like Bank of America predicting a 30% drop from here. Do you know how much crypto would get crushed as a result? Do you realize how much the average stock would get crushed? We're talking 20% declines across the board, and that's not being dramatic. Like that's just being somewhat realistic with what they're forecasting. Is it going to happen for sure? Maybe not, but why get so excited about the recent rally when uh, prices seem to be already cooling off? It's like the rally only lasted a few weeks, you guys. Probably a sign that we're going lower. This was just a significant bear market rally that you know was intended to get many people into the market to go long, and because again the narrative that many people saying is, oh, we're in a new bull market, go long on Bitcoin, go long on crypto, go long on stock, etc. You'll just make money. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the fundamentals. Don't focus that we're still in a bear market when we're going lower. Just think pie is the sky. But I don't know. That's just my opinion, you guys. I think we have more pain to experience these next few months at the very least, maybe leading into the back end of this year. But time will please let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Do you think the reserve is essentially saying more pain is to come, or do you think the Federal Reserve is going to pit or at least pause interest rates here in the next 3 to 6 months? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. Hit notification bell to be notified when we go live next. I don't know why my screen zoomed in like crazy like that, but if you guys enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. Hit notification bell to be notified when we go next. I will see you guys all tomorrow, 9:15, 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, please take care and best